Welcome back to my Halloween month reviews, and for this video we are going to be talking about Sleepy Hollow, directed by Tim Burton and stars Johnny Depp and Christina Ricci. And it's about Ichabod Crane, a constable from New York that's been sent to investigate murders that have been happening in the small town called Sleepy Hollow, where he finds out that these victims are getting killed by getting their heads cut off and taken by the Headless Horseman. This is based off of the book by Washington Irving, which I haven't read, and I don't really know much about the original Sleepy Hollow story. All I know is that Ichabod Crane is the main hero, and the Headless Horseman is the main villain, and Katrina is the main love interest, and the entire story takes place in Sleepy Hollow. Like, that's all I knew as a kid. And there have been a lot of takes on the Sleepy Hollow story, whether it's like the take from Disney or on television, and this version is actually my favorite take on the Sleepy Hollow story, because this one feels more dark and serious. It feels like some real stakes are going on. And when I was a teenager, I was a huge fan of Tim Burton's style, mostly his more dark and gothic style, where he would have them in other films such as Sweeney Todd, Corpse Bride, Edward Scissorhands. I would listen to soundtracks for both this film and Sweeney Todd, and watch the trailers for both of these films as well. These were the two R-rated films I was really fascinated by, and later eventually did watch both of them as an adult, and I would like to review Sweeney Todd one day, but for this video we're going to be focusing on Sleepy Hollow. And I remember being very interested and invested in the main story, where you see Ichabod go to Sleepy Hollow, and you see it as a very dark and creepy looking small town with a lot of dark gray and black colors, not a lot of people outside. And that's one of the things I really liked about this film, the whole setting for Sleepy Hollow, making it look all dark and creepy, with the sets, the costumes, the backgrounds, and of course having the Headless Horseman be the main antagonist. They did a good job making this small town feel like it's a very messed up small town that's been through a lot of messed up stuff, making you feel like, I don't think I should be living here. This movie also has some really good makeup and some great practical effects for some of the characters that would later appear, and a lot of that stuff looks very creepy, and they match the tone very well. But I was also invested in some of the character moments, like Ichabod Crane, for instance, played by Depp, who is there to investigate some strange murders about people getting their heads cut off, and for some reason their heads just disappear into thin air. But he's also very squeamish when he sees something bloody or a dead body in front of him, so when he sees like a dead body with his head gone, he feels uncomfortable looking at the dead body and feels like he's about to throw up. And of course he would also faint whenever stuff like that happens right in front of him, and he does that quite a bit in this film. Like, he faints every time he sees something horrible right in front of him, and sometimes it could be funny, but this movie can overuse it just a little bit, where at times it can feel a little tired and you can already see where that's gonna go after that. Like, that's one of the only issues I have with this film, where it just overuses like the fainting scenes for Ichabod. But anyways, back to Ichabod. He has a very troubled past, where you get to see why he is squeamish and why he is the way he is. And when you learn more about his backstory just from flashbacks, you do start to feel really bad for him that he went through a horrible moment. And this is one of the only Tim Burton films with Johnny Depp where he doesn't wear the pale white makeup, because almost every Tim Burton film he's in, he for whatever reason has to wear the pale makeup as every main character he plays. He looks like a regular normal guy that isn't zany or goofy, although he has a couple of moments that are supposed to be comical, like him just getting afraid when he sees a spider on the floor. And I would say that this is one of Johnny Depp's best performances. I do love him in other films like Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean, but for me, I think Ichabod Crane from Sleepy Hollow is one of his more underrated performances. And there's also a romance between him and Katrina, which is a thing from the book, and they do have nice chemistry. It isn't melodramatic or overly serious, and it's also not the typical type of romance film where you would have the main character that's supposed to be the main hero and falls in love with a girl instantly and she's supposed to be into it, and once you learn learn more about both of them as the characters and you see their relationship slowly grow, you start to care for them. And both Johnny Depp and Christina Ricci play their characters very well. Now, when Ichabod comes to Sleepy Hollow, he would think it's the usual thing where he thinks that the Headless Horseman is just killing people for sport, but as the film progresses, he starts to learn it's a little bit more than just that, where he learns that there's something more sinister happening in Sleepy Hollow. Now, I'm not gonna mention what kind of sinister stuff that they're saying because it is a spoiler, but what I will say is this movie does reveal some more dark and messed up stuff as the story progresses. And another thing I do want to praise about this film is the score by Danny Elfman, who back in the day and even in today's time would do the score for a lot of Tim Burton films. Like he would do the music for Beetlejuice, Batman, Edward Scissorhands, and even with some of his weaker films like with Dark Shadows or the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory remake. Even when a Tim Burton film isn't that great, Danny Elfman's score makes it a lot of fun to listen. Now, as for issues, like I said earlier, Ichabod faints a little too much, making it feel very tired. But my main issue with this film is its twist villain. I'm not going to mention who the twist villain is, but what I will say is they are some of the most predictable twist villains that you can find in any film. Like when they're introduced in the beginning of the film and they're revealed to be nice to the main character, you would instantly figure out that they are the main twist villain. Like when they are introduced in the beginning of the film and they start out as nice to the main characters, you can already figure out that they are the main villain. And when that twist happens, it doesn't come off as a surprise, it just comes off as predictable. Sleepy Hollow is a great Tim Burton film where it has great sets, it has great costumes, it has a fun and interesting main lead, it has great practical effects and brutal kills, and a very intimidating antagonist. If you want to see a dark take on the Sleepy Hollow story done right, then watch this film. It is definitely worth watching. I'm gonna give Sleepy Hollow an A-. So guys, if you have seen Sleepy Hollow, what do you think about it? Do you think it's a great movie, or do you think that this one isn't that great? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if you like this video, then please leave a like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing, because it helps my channel grow. Hit the notification bell so you know what other videos I'm posting. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Say hi to the camera, Lola. She's very excited to be here.